You are listening to the podcast That's Life in Sweden, or as we say in Swedish, Sånt är livet i Sverige, with me, your host, Lisa Åsimäki. Country Director for International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association, or EHETL, and the Provost and Vice President at the American University in the Emirates, Dr. Abhilasha Singh, is joining me today from Dubai. Welcome, Abhilasha Singh. How are you? And happy 23. How are you today?
I'm very good, and thank you very much, Lisa, for connecting. It's an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Wonderful to speak to you. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I spoke with Patrick Blessinger, the director of EHETL, and we had a fantastic conversation about his work starting or being the founder of EHETL and his thoughts. So today I thought we start off by finding out a little bit more about your role in the association, because you are the country director for International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association from Dubai, and you are part of the executive committee. So can you share about the International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association, as well as about your role?
Thank you, Lisa, for asking that question. It's very interesting because this International Higher Education Teaching and Learning Association, which is also known as EHETL, it was, founded by Dr. Blessinger in 2010. And it was his dream to bring together the higher education professionals so that they can have an open dialogue on a number of issues, I can say critical issues, which are pertaining to higher education. So he shared his vision with many of the senior educationists. And, then like-minded people, they came together and they not only promoted the vision of EHETL, which is basically to generate new knowledge, to advance the scholarship and practice of teaching and learning in higher education, but also we agreed and we willingly contributed to promoting sustainable learning. So as part of the executive team, my role is more to provide strategic directions to EHETL, and as country director, to also promote our shared vision of EHETL with other educators and educational institutions, other higher education associations. And our aim is to bring basically educational excellence. Our aim is to improve teaching and learning in higher education. So what we do basically, and how I contribute, is we strategize, we organize conferences, we discuss critical issues, we conduct webinars in collaboration with other higher education institutions, like the role of higher education. We discuss the role of higher education, how they are meeting the Sustainable Development Goals, which is so important for all of us. So we concluded recently one conference in Istanbul, and we are looking forward to the next one in June 2023, which will be held in collaboration with University of Aberdeen. So that's how we are contributing to the entire, higher education sector.
Wonderful. Now, you are also the Vice President for Academic Affairs at the American University in Emirates. And so can you share your initial interest in teaching and research and the journey that has taken you to your current position?
Thank you, Lisa, for that question. It was an interesting journey. I can also say there were challenges, but at the same time, there were opportunities. So while pursuing my doctorate in psychology, I started working as an ad hoc faculty member. It was a women's college. And then a couple of years later, I secured a full-time assistant professor position like any other young faculty. I was spending most of my time in teaching, performing research, and providing service to the community, which was the role of teaching. I can say this is the role of a faculty role and responsibility. So one thing which I witnessed was plight of the students to comprehend and master, some specific concepts. And I witnessed the students, sometimes blaming the university administration for being unfair to them with no rationale. So what I realized that there is a need to focus more on the art of teaching, on humanizing the entire higher education, having a kind of shared responsibility of student failure, and ultimate responsibility to make the students employable. So my passion for meaningful integration of teaching, research, and administration gradually began to unfold. And over the past 30-year long career in educational leadership, I've been the president, I've been the provost, member of board of trustees, general secretary of board. I took the role of vice president for research and advancement, role of dean as a principal administrative officer of college. And as I started to manage, like a academic administrator, and evaluated teacher quality, teaching effectiveness, advisement efficiency, the assessment validation, I saw many opportunities to move ahead. And I enjoyed the challenges it was bringing. So there was a time I was traveling to Iraq frequently, where I facilitated the establishment of American University there in northern part of Iraq. I was serving as member of a steering committee and general secretary of the board till its establishment and start of the operation. I was fascinated by the educational demands when I took the position of president and CEO of a college. So what I mean basically, throughout my distinguished career, I was actively engaged in, dealing with fiscal issues, monitoring compliance, specifying corrective actions, and at the same time, I enjoyed writing. So I never let the researcher within me die, and my passion to research also, resulted in many articles, which are now published in national and international journal. And today here I am serving as Vice President for Academic Affairs at the American University of Dubai. We are located in Dubai. It is basically, my aim is to support quality education. And I just always feel eager to shatter the glass ceiling, and I believe I can make a difference in facilitating and enhancing the quality in the higher education sector.
We're going to come back and talk about your article, but I want to ask you first, what do you think makes a good leader?
Oh, I strongly believe in, treating the people the way you want to be treated. So any good leader needs to understand the uniqueness of each person, because see, people are limitless and should not be bound by any other's expectation. So the successful leader is one who understands the unique potential of his or her team, and one who can empower his team to develop their own competencies. I believe that a good leader is one who understands, the power of emotional intelligence, and there are key attributes here. The power of self-awareness, the power of self-regulation, and a person who can spend time every day on self-reflections. That's important. The leader should not let success and failure affect them. Neither they should let success get into their head, nor the failure to their heart. So if there is one thing in the world that is limitless, it is the possibilities of people, And a good leader should appreciate the value of people. I strongly believe that. And whenever, we recently got the candidacy of SAC-CUC, and we are in process of applying for our compliance certification. And I always tell my faculty member, whatever we achieved, it is because of you all, your contribution. So that's very important to appreciate the contribution of the team members.
So do you think there is a difference between men's and women's leadership?
Oh, certainly. It's absolutely wrong to say that women cannot be good administrators because they are emotional. I keep hearing this. So
Gosh.
being emotional, in fact, is the strength of women. And I conducted a study, and the gender role related responsibilities were brought up by the women leaders during interviews. And that relate to parenting in adverse situations, to maintain family life balance, work life balance. And the respondents, in this study, they indicated that a working woman feels that sometimes she is downplaying her role as a mother. So they are stretched, women. They have family responsibility, they have work responsibility. And at times it becomes difficult for them to be present at both places when their presence is needed at both places at the same time. So, considering the leadership duties, in my study, the results provided substantial evidence that there is a significant difference between men and women leadership. The the social construction of leadership is a gendered phenomena, and it is reinforced because, see, both the genders are offered different gender specific leadership style and strategies. You will be surprised that women were more open to collaborative and democratic styles of leadership, because the autocratic leadership, it leads to personal repercussions and intense scrutiny. So therefore it was mostly avoided by majority of women. And this leadership style is obliged by social norms, as the women are not wired biologically. So the interviews that I conducted in my study have shown that majority of the women tend to avoid the overly autocratic leadership style.
Yes. And that.
So I believe, yes,
Yes.
there is a difference in men and women leadership style.
Yes. So you are now, and so one of the main challenges for women in leadership position in higher education has got to do with being a parent or a mother.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
And you also, and I know now you were mentioning some aspects or findings from your 2019 article that talks about degendered leadership, and it's about the breaking the glass ceiling. Can you share a little bit more about the article?
One thing, I'm sure, Liza, you will note that there are many articles on the obstacles for women at work.
Yes.
And higher education is playing a major role in empowering women and breaking down any hurdles. I'm at a place where women are occupying 3 VP position and dean position, and there is a lot of respect for women. However, in the context of higher education, the challenges are basically embedded within the institutional structures and systems.
Yeah.
So accepting the potential of women leadership is sometimes a challenge for men. And I believe that there is a need to change the mindset of people. And more than women, the men need to understand this. The societal expectation from women are conventional in male-dominated community. So questions are often their ideas, their proposals, how often it is implemented, how often the women are empowered at workplace. So we know that women must accommodate the family and child care responsibilities. However, more than personal challenges, there are organizational and cultural challenges. So what I was noticing, that I'm in a country which is ranked as a leading country in gender equality in the region, right? And you can find that in the Global Gender Gap Report of World Economic Forum in 2022. So the country basically, they have taken a number of initiatives regarding women's inclusion, justice, security. And I was also noticing that women are more goal-driven. So it will be undermining their potential when people say that women need more support and encouragement. So I wanted to investigate experiences of women working at managerial positions, to develop a degendering of leadership for understanding the reasons regarding underrepresentation of women at managerial position, and also gender segregation, because the traditional role of a woman in an Islamic country, especially in Islamic culture, is that of a homemaker and a mother. So the men and society perceive women always in a very traditional role, and they cannot perceive women in leadership positions in business world, and including higher education sector. I mean, you will not find many presidents and vice presidents women. We are gradually moving ahead, but still it will take time. So the perception is that the place of women is at home, not in the outside world, and the man is holding the authoritative position both at home and in the outside world. So it makes it extremely difficult for men to take orders from women in organization. So the good part is that when it comes to United Arab Emirates, they embrace the gendered social constructs for promoting, gender-based equalities. And therefore, the study which I took was to evaluate the experiences of women.
Mm-hmm. We need more.
So
we need more women like yourself.
That will be great. the study basically, it was very interesting, because the study showed clearly that men are likely to be perceived as autocratic, very agentic. And women tend to represent communal and democratic approach in their management skills. So which was interesting for me because the gender of a leader is completely inconsequential, where women and men are treated equally. So in such cases, women working at managerial posts have really, really shown high level of productivity and performance in their work. Provided again that they are treated equally. When it comes to the career advancement of women, it requires more commitment, more motivation, especially as I said earlier, in a male-dominated community where societal expectations from women are very conventional, very traditional.
Yes.
So that is why I took the study.
Yes.
And go ahead.
So I'm really curious. So what was your background? Was it very much like you're a girl, it doesn't matter if you're a girl, you can still do things that boys can do, and as you grew up, you were actually supported in accepting roles, leadership roles?
I probably will not say yes completely. And because you have asked a personal question, I come from an affluent but very orthodox family.
Okay.
So I was raised under a very protective environment and completed my schooling from a Catholic school. And just to give you an example, I was keen on pursuing a career in dance, music, theater, but my father always wanted me to become a doctor, and he was the most influential person in my life. So after completing my schooling, I pursued a degree in psychology with honors. And like any other typical women, many times in life, I had to make tough choices of continuing my education, my professional career, and meeting my family demands.
Yes.
I was blessed that I was supported by my family. I became a mother first, then a teacher, then a trainer, a leader, scholar. So if today I am an academician and I gradually carved my own niche to become a leader in the field of education, the journey was not always very smooth. Yes, I received family support. Their support was always unconditional, and they were the pillars of my strength. Especially throughout my doctoral journey. But it was not always smooth.
Wow.
But the challenge is, sometimes the challenges basically drives you. And that's what happened with me.
And they make you stronger.
Correct. Absolutely.
You have also written another fabulous paper, and in 2020 titled Association Between Organizational Norms and Employer Productivity in Higher Education. And you talked about can you talk about the article and especially the significance of your findings where there is the increase in employee age correspond to an increase in employee productivity? I was fascinated by that.
Truly, I was also fascinated when I was analyzing the results, First of all, let me tell you that you will find very limited studies in this area, particularly when it relates to organizational norms and its impact on the productivity of people, especially considering the context of UAE. So the relationship between culture, norms in reference to employee age, in reference to leadership, has not been sufficiently explored, I should say. And I'm always intrigued with the huge impact of organizational culture, and norms is a part of it, on employees. So actually, I published another paper also on the impact of culture in managing knowledge. And I wanted to determine how it is correlated, the organizational culture and the knowledge creation, knowledge capturing, knowledge dissemination. But this particular study, it concluded that there is a significant relationship between organizational culture and the overall performance of its employees. And I'm sure you know that belief, gestures, norms, and other features of organizational culture, it significantly affects the performance of employees in any organization. So the demographic characteristics of age and tenure of people, the level of their education, this is related to the performance. So when I started analyzing the data, I found that there was a low impact of personal pride on age and a very weak relationship between age and performance. So practically, there was no association between age and performance. So there was a significant impact, like age was not a factor. Like you cannot just simply say that, okay, people are, they are above 60, so their performance has deteriorated. So you know what I mean?
Yes.
So the results were very, very fascinating. The only thing which I noticed that the employees, elderly employees, I should say, above 45, they required more motivation. So while the level of performance and productivity provided by, aged employees were high due to their experience, due to their knowledge, there were some concerns related to their willingness to learn, because they feel that, okay, I'm experienced.
Yes.
I have 30, 40 years of experience. I don't need such kind of training sessions. So the research also suggested to provide more training sessions to such employees that will be helpful in minimizing the mindset regarding age stereotypes, So that was quite interesting. I just wanted to, there were certain challenges in conducting this study because we wanted more data, and our sample size was considerably small. So we were targeting around 200 people, and we ended up with 89 people for this study.
Right. We have a Swedish professor who is a psychiatrist, but his area of research and speciality is about aging. And his name is Ingmar Skog. And he has this, he comes out and says that, look, the new 70, so when you're 70-year-old, that's a new 30-year-olds.
Yeah, that's so fascinating.
Yeah, he is so angry about the ageism that exists even here in Sweden.
Yeah, it is interesting. And you mentioned a wonderful study here, and what I am noticing that we have some faculty, not many, who are above 60 years of age. And I never found any issues. Students are happy. They are sharing their experience. Some of them carry both academic, research, and their industry experience. And they're really, really contributing. Our mission is to contribute to bring the educational to become one of the best regional universities here, and they are really contributing in this regard. So we never found any kind of challenges with faculty who are, let us say, above 50 or above 60. So I think yes, there is a need to change the mindset regarding the age stereotype.
Yes, and the culture.
And the culture.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Now,
and especially even in the team composition, sorry to interrupt, like when you are making a team, we are noticing that, the age diversity should also be considered.
Another question, and this of course now relates to the implementation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Do you think that it will be possible to achieve the so-called 17 goals?
Our university motto is nothing is impossible. And you will be surprised that I recently published an article with Dr. Blessinger on the important role of human capital in tackling the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. And the academic disciplines, within higher education, I should say it is well suited to address the Sustainable Development Goals of 2030 agenda. We are placed in a very unique situation. The higher education institutions and we as higher education providers, we have the intellectual capital and the competencies to address the goals. What is required is a need of sustainable mindset. So what we are doing at American University in the Emirates, we integrated sustainability and SDGs at all levels of the institution. We revisited our mission. We revisited our goals, institutional goals. So, and it was required because that is the demand. So we have to do that. So we want to create a sustainable mindset throughout the institution, right? From the governance to the faculty members, to the students. So we focus on sustainability education for knowledge transfer. And also we focus on building a workforce, future workforce, because our mission says, graduating global citizens. So there is a word global. So we want to graduate this workforce, the future workforce, with soft skills, which are required for a sustainable nation. We are here in United Arab Emirates, and we have Ministry of, Tolerance. We have Minister of Happiness, which is probably, I don't know if there is in any other country there is a Minister of Happiness. So we strongly believe we have to align our institutional values, institutional goals and objectives with the national vision as well, right? So we focus a lot on global values like peace and tolerance. We prioritize them. So this is how I believe that, yes, despite the challenges, but the higher education institutions, we all have to contribute in the implementation of UN Sustainable Development Goals, as it has been, mentioned in the 2030 agenda.
So it is an actual responsibility of all higher education institutions.
This is our social responsibility, yeah.
What soft skill or which ones do you think are the most important for the future that we need to think about?
I will say majorly two: resilience, agility. This is so important. And we have noticed what happened during the pandemic. So post-pandemic, these skills, critical thinking, problem solving, resilience, it is so important. one has to be prepared to deal with any ambiguous situation. And that's important. And that's what we are trying to inculcate in our graduates. There are challenges always, It is, we always say that we should not refer to them as problems. They are challenges and we will address them. We have initiated cross-sectoral dialogues. We have initiated a number of partnerships with other institutions so that we can focus more on knowledge creation through our research and publication and disseminating that knowledge. It will take time, but definitely it's going to happen, And we don't have any other option. We have to deal with that.
Exactly. Is there anything that you would like to talk about that I haven't mentioned that is particular of importance to you?
I think at this point of time, I also believe that when it comes to, you have asked the last question about the challenges in the, in implementation of UN SDGs. And this is so important for higher education sector. This requires all the higher education providers to come forward. This requires the higher education sector to revisit their institutional goals and to incorporate sustainability. Because we know that, people are having that, like higher education institutions are having some programs in sustainability. But is that enough? Is it enough to have a course on sustainability? Is it enough to have a course on climate change? What else is required is basically to, as I said, to create a sustainable mindset. That's important. And this will be only possible if all the higher education institutions are coming together. There is a common forum where there's a common platform where they are discussing about this. So that's important for me.
Thank you so much for your time, Abhilasha, and I wish you the very best, and I hope I can invite you back for another conversation later on.
Thank you, Lisa. It was wonderful talking to you. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I will be always happy and willing to contribute to higher education sector in whatever ways possible.
And you have been listening to the podcast Sånt är livet i Sverige, or in English, That's Life here in Sweden, with me, Lisa Åsimäki. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other. Bye for now.